Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a great day. To start things off, the team at Huobi's OTC or over-the-counter trading desk announced that they will be launching XRP yesterday on their platform. The tweet making the announcement can be found below. Here it is right here. The exchange went on to give the following fee schedule when buying XRP using different global fiat currencies. Here's the actual fee thing. Not much of the story, like there isn't like a huge amount of meat to it, if you will. It just kind of comes down to the fact that Huobi, one of the largest exchanges that we have, has announced that they are going to be listing, or have already listed, XRP to their over-the-counter trading desk. Controversial, kind of still. A lot of people in the cryptocurrency space aren't too happy with over-the-counter markets. They do help the cryptocurrency space just kind of directly, indirectly. Like people are still buying up cryptocurrencies, it's just that we don't see them on the actual exchanges like metrics as far as like what's being bought and what's being sold. And this is a very huge problem for a lot of people, because I also have said before in the past, if we did, I mean, you can't get away from over-the-counter markets. It's just a matter of if we didn't have over-the-counter markets, we'd be able to clearly see exactly how much cryptocurrencies were being bought, because we know before, we've had many other articles talking about that many other places, especially during 2018, were actually selling millions, if not tens of millions of dollars to specific, like one person at a time of cryptocurrency. So it does lessen the supply of crypto that's out there. It doesn't necessarily hurt the markets. People were asking me that in the comment section about a day or two ago. It doesn't hurt the markets. It just more so keeps it exactly where it is. Like there's no record for all of us, the normal people, of exactly how much is being purchased from individuals. But it does, in essence, lessen the supply. And yeah, I mean, OTC is kind of, you know, it just is what it is. There are a lot of people who would prefer to buy $10 million worth of XRP or Ethereum or Bitcoin privately, and that's their prerogative. They are allowed to do that. Without further ado, let's move on. So this has been all over the place as well. I decided to talk about it because everyone's completely obsessed with Jack Dorsey at this point. Twitter and Square CEO named Jack Dorsey alluded to spending $10,000 per week on Bitcoin on the podcast known as Tales from the Crypt, an amazing name. He said this a couple days ago on the podcast. Dorsey spoke on how he came to experiment with Bitcoin and what parallels he sees between Bitcoin and Twitter, speaking about the Stacking Sat Saturday, a trend where users buy $25 in Bitcoin every week to show the growing adoption of cryptocurrencies. Dorsey said that he saw that Stacking Sat Saturday, my gosh, on Twitter, would have participated, but I have already exceeded my limit on Cash App. I can't purchase anymore. We spoke about the stacking Satoshi, or stacking, there wasn't a Saturday before, and apparently it's a Saturday thing now. The Stacking Sat hashtag, where pretty much people are buying Bitcoin, and the idea is that Satoshis, the idea is that people should start denominating how much Bitcoin they have in Satoshis, because if you have 1 million Satoshis and Bitcoin ends up being worth a large amount, then you have $1 million, what have you. So everyone's showing how much or how many Satoshis that they're buying, because we've also had something last week. There was like a huge movement. Like everything seems to be focusing around the CEO of Twitter, where if I think you put $11 US into Bitcoin, I think you'd have the equivalent, what was it? I think of around like 300,000 Satoshis and what have you. So it says, although Dorsey did not specify the exact amount, the maximum weekly buy limit for Bitcoin on mobile payment company known as Square is $10,000 US. He further commented that he may be able to join the Stacking Sat Saturday next week, since limits purportedly rotate every week. So the news here is that he kind of openly announced that he buys around $10,000 worth of Bitcoin per week, and that's just on the Square app. And I mean, logically, he's a billionaire, so one can only assume that he probably should have other ways to be buying it. He's probably buying 10,000 on Square because he owns Square, so he's probably doing it to also boost his own app. For some reason, a lot of people were surprised about this. They were like, oh my gosh, I can't believe Jack Dorsey's buying Bitcoin. He mentioned about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, that he only buys Bitcoin. He thinks that Bitcoin is going to become the currency of the internet, which is probably close to being true. Anyway, yeah, Jack Dorsey buys $10,000 a week worth of Bitcoin. That's, what is that? 10 Bitcoin a month or something like that? I mean, if you have the money, then definitely go for it. Let's move on. NASDAQ is in the news today. One of the most important financial companies in the world, known as NASDAQ, is on its way to tokenizing its platform. At least this is what the blockchain product manager of the company, Johan Toll, has affirmed. According to him, the company is set to not be left behind, and trials are already being made with blockchain technology. Toll has affirmed that the fragmented nature and intermediaries of the products which are offered by NASDAQ generally end up with slow transactions, which was not optimal. With blockchain technology, however, outdated technologies can finally be abandoned forever, thank goodness, and a new level of efficiency, wow. Just woke up. For those who don't know, when I wake up, I cannot speak English. And a new level of efficiency can be achieved in this new system, which is being trialed right now. Toll affirms that blockchain tech is being used in order to emit issuance of stocks. The system is currently being tested in Sweden. There was another bit of news yesterday or the day before that I didn't get to actually put inside of a video. It wasn't like super amazing. It was another institution, like another financial institution, who announced that they were also going to be tokenizing everything on their platform because, not joking, they said that while they are a multi-million-dollar company, some of their offices still use fax machines because the other companies are also still using fax machines. So they were very excited to be able to digitize their platform completely and also integrate blockchain technology as well. The major news is that the NASDAQ, it's NASDAQ should just be spelled money at this point. They have officially announced that they are tokenizing the entirety of their platform. That like everything will be completely digitized. I mean, to be fair, NASDAQ is an online based thing anyway. The point is, I think they're gearing up. I mean, to be honest and just kind of leave this alone, you kind of see where this is all going. The people from NASDAQ are very bullish on cryptocurrencies, and they're also bullish on the future of blockchain technology. So, I mean, it's kind of nice to see the wheel ticking along, as it were, because this is pretty much where the entire world is going. And I think it's very weird. I was talking to a couple of people a couple days ago, and I was talking to them about cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology. Just something, I mean, crypto is kind of my life now, so if I don't talk to people about it, I think it drives me insane. And they had no idea what I was talking about. It was very, very weird. And I tried to explain to them where the space is going and how things were moving. And they apparently didn't care. And they were more than happy just living their life without cryptocurrencies or without knowing what blockchain technology was or where it was going to go. And I kind of tried to be nice and mention, hey, so if you don't really care, when you're 20, 30 years from now and trying to retire, will you care? And they were like, we'll worry about that when the time comes. So while the revolution will be televised, not everyone will have their television on. That is kind of the nicest way of saying it. Let's move on. I found this one incredibly interesting, and I know that it's partially true. Universities and colleges, campuses, have emerged as not only breeding grounds for young minds, but also for actual mining centers in a development that is bound to excite the cryptocurrency community. According to security researchers at Cisco, who have been tracking the mining of cryptocurrencies across different industry verticals, college campuses rank second behind the energy and utility sector. Cisco's research found that the energy sector accounted for 34% of mining in terms of industry division. It was followed by college campuses, which bring in 22%. That's insane. The other notable sectors in the list include healthcare, media, local governments, financial services, and the manufacturing sector. Austin McBride, a threat researcher, with Cisco, stated, "You leave the mining rig running in your dorm for 4 years, you walk out of college with a big chunk of change. Since university students have free electricity while on campus, they can indulge in the mining of virtual currencies without any significant cost overheads. That is not financial advice. Don't start doing this in your dorm. Maybe consult someone if it's okay to do this." There was a news article and there was like a YouTube video a couple years ago. It hasn't been a major thing since. And I think the idea of it maybe has floundered a tiny bit with students, or maybe they just simply don't know about it. There was a news article, I can't remember exactly where it was anymore, this was 2-3 years ago, where this student was in university and he was continuously buying mining rigs. Like he had like a side job, he was buying these, like $200 little mining things. He was connecting them all together, and within a couple of months he had around 30 to 40 of them. And they were trying to like check the actual gauges of, where was all this electricity use coming from, and they were checking every single dorm, and they found his, and it was essentially like a mini mining rig area. It was very intense. And they were had news crew there and all this other stuff because they were trying to kick him out of university, and they couldn't find any compelling reason to actually kick him out except for telling him that he had to turn them off, and they couldn't think of why he had to. Like there was no actual rule. Schools didn't have a thing that said, in the clauses, in your dorm room you can't mine crypto, or why you could not mine crypto. It just wasn't there. So I think he actually ended up being able to keep them on. But the news story is that later on, they were trying to figure out exactly how much he had mined, and it was at least like, I think like 15, 16 Bitcoin. He was like buying up small amounts, but he was also mining like fractions of it on the side. So when the price hit 20,000, he, came into a nice little chunk of change. And I think he said that he was planning on selling it so that he could actually pay for his university, because university in America is expensive. Anyway, I thought that was kind of interesting because we've also seen stuff. There were news articles before, and especially if you try to look on YouTube, maybe there has to be videos where it's like, type in like China school Bitcoin mining, or like China office Bitcoin mining. There was a school in China, I think it was last year, where this guy got in trouble because his classroom was 2 classes. Like it was 2 rooms kind of. It was like a larger room, and it was like a smaller room in the back where a teacher would normally put their supplies, or like I think people would like put their coats, or like, whatever these supplies were. And during class, every single day, the students kept on complaining that there was like a very loud noise in the background, and he kept on saying that it was like construction or something happening. And then one of the other teachers, because there's always that one person, always that one snitch, decided to go into his classroom when he left and found hundreds of mining rigs, called the cops on him, and this guy ended up getting in trouble. Jerk. Anyway, people are trying to find very inventive ways to be able to mine cryptocurrency on the side. There was, there's so many of them. There was somebody, I think, who was working at Google who was trying to use their computers. There was somebody else, like all these major computer systems, like people, there was something, don't do this. There was something a couple years ago where people had malware, and they were going to libraries, because people just use the internet now as opposed to using libraries. Kind of sad, but it is what it is. And they were some type of malware that they were putting onto a USB port, and they were infecting every single computer around it. And they went to one library that had like 50 computers, and they were using that to like mine cryptocurrencies while the computers kind of, weren't in use, and like it was taking up the extra computer power. But because no one was using them, it was like fully dedicated to, I think it was mining Zcash. I don't know. Everyone this is definitely a new gold rush, and I think it's incredibly exciting and comical how people are trying to figure out ways to be able to get more of it. Anyway, let's move on. Next up, in another instance of crypto layoffs, the Dash core group behind the Dash cryptocurrency will be cutting down on staff to reduce expenses. The nearly 50-strong team will lose their Human Resources Department and see a significant reduction in business development effective this week. Commenting on the staff reduction, CEO Ryan Taylor said, "This was not a decision we took lightly, and we've been actively finding ways to reduce the budget over the last several months. This development comes after months of a hiring freeze, as well as voluntary cuts to salaries and employee benefits. Moving forward, the group CFO and CEO will take a more active role in human resources and business development activities, respectively." This is not the first cryptocurrency that we've heard that's been doing this. We don't normally hear much from Dash. The Dash team was doing incredibly well in Venezuela and I think a couple of countries in Africa, but that does not put food on the table typically when you're helping other people. Just the sad truth of the matter. To put it lightly, try to pay attention to the cryptocurrencies that we constantly hear about in the news. I know it may be painful or hurtful, or it may hurt part of your soul to even hear something like that, but I know a lot of people are definitely into Dash. I think they will do well eventually when the prices do run back up. However, no one knows when the prices are going to run back up. And part of the issue that we have right now is that the crypto market has been going down for a steady 14 months. It is an incredibly long bear market. No one knows when it is going to reverse. And these layoffs are happening more and more. Some of the larger coins have been left unscathed. However, there's a reason why I only talk about certain cryptocurrencies, or why we only get news about these certain cryptocurrencies every single day. Anyway, without digging too further into it, this is like the 5th or 6th coin this year that we've heard about that has staff layoffs and or closures. To kind of finish things off, this has been floating around for, I want to say, about 2 or 3 days now. Everyone has seemingly flipped a switch in their head. For some reason, Bitcoin's volume has almost doubled. Maybe it actually has even doubled over the last 2 weeks. And typically, what this means, according to many analysts and many people who do the chart analysis, is that whenever there's a huge amount of volume and prices really aren't moving, it could potentially mean that we are like a boiling pot and getting ready to kind of shoot up. I know that water doesn't shoot up when it's boiling, but you kind of can see what I'm talking about in your head. This guy's name is Crypto Dog, who was talking about this, but there's a huge amount of consensus that we are nearing a point that because we are nearing this narrow range, or towards the end of this narrow range, that Bitcoin is gearing up for something spectacular. If we look over here at the prices, Bitcoin's volume is typically like 4 billion, 4.3 billion. On a good day, it's like 5 billion. So the fact that we are well beyond that and Bitcoin's price is barely moving and it's like a very, very tight range, this is incredibly significant. Litecoin is still on that upward peak. It was actually $55. What was it? Like this morning? Well, I mean, it still is morning, like an hour ago or something like that. Binance coin is, just the greatest of all time at this point. It has no signs of slowing down. It's kind of annoying because I wish that at least maybe Ethereum kind of had this type of price movement up, but it kind of is what it is. All right, everybody. I think that is definitely going to do it for this video. Let's hope it would be nice if this momentum continues, or if we have some type of a huge breakout, awesome mega rally on the weekend. I get so annoyed because we have so many instances where prices are looking like they're going to do something on like a Monday to Thursday basis. This happens over and over. By the time we get to Friday, like a little pop happens, and then Saturday and Sunday, the markets kind of relax and cool off and prices go down, and then we have the same repeat over and over again on a Monday and a Sunday. Kind of is what it is, but yeah. I hope you all enjoyed. I hope you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening. Wherever you are, wherever you might be, I hope it's absolutely fantastic. Kind of interesting to note that Binance coin is actually very close to pushing past Bitcoin Cash. I would not have a problem with that at all. I would actually like if Binance coin, Tether, and Stellar just knocked Bitcoin Cash completely out of the running. That would be fantastic. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters. They are Vlad the Impaler, Gil Boa Snake, Rai, Brady Niels, L, Doug, Arthur, Yaku, Professor Wally from Gunbot University, Nick Mangialavori, Travis Haynes, Yasha Harari, Anthony Charles, Nick Kanaya, singer-songwriter Mike Savitz, Wise, Night Owl, Joey Carafa, Jaleel Dowdy, Crypto Joe, Jim Gardner, Jared Schneider, Jeremy Fox, Amy Starsheen, Richie Rich, The Third, Jeffrey Ramsey, Cody? Why do I keep getting that one wrong? Cody. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just Cody. And Carl Birchenough. Don't know why I keep getting the last two incorrect. But yeah, thank you very much for your generosity. I do appreciate it. And yeah, I'll talk to you all soon. See you.